Mr. President, it was my good fortune as a young man to work for a senator from Illinois named Paul Douglas. He was known as Mr. Ethics in the United States Senate. He believed, and he shared that belief with me and all that worked with and for him, that the first obligation of a public official is to not betray the trust of the voters when it comes to self-dealing or making money out of public office. He started me down a path in my early years in politics of making a complete disclosure, both my income tax return and net worth in detail, specific amounts every year. I've done that for over 40 years. I believe he was right. I remember Paul Simon, my predecessor in the United States Senate, who used to say, people may not agree with my vote, but they know I didn't cast it to make a buck. It's just that simple. So what has happened at the highest level of government, the office of the president? Throughout our history, there have been examples of corruption which have been well documented. The Teapot Dome scandal comes to mind, and certainly the departure of previous vice presidents for wrongdoing has been well documented. What we have going on in the White House now with the Trump administration is unprecedented, not just in the amount of money involved going to the president and his family, but also in the very real fact that the bottom line is he's bold and states clearly, I've done it and I defy you to do anything about it. It's one of the reasons that I am opposing the pending legislation on the floor on cryptocurrency. The president, has been documented by my colleague from Connecticut, is making millions of dollars exploiting cryptocurrency. And he's inviting those who will buy into his scheme, his profit-making scheme, to official gatherings and occasions at the White House. It is the most bald-faced demonstration of corruption we've ever seen at the office of the presidency. And this plane now, this $400 million airplane, says it all. Mr. President, so that you understand, Pam Bondi is the Attorney General of the United States, duly appointed, and she has supposedly released a memo justifying the transfer of this airplane to the United States government and then to Donald Trump personally as being acceptable. No objection. I'm still looking for a copy of that public opinion. It should be public, and it hasn't been yet. There's been a reference made to the Constitution on this issue. In the Constitution, Article 1, Section 9 is explicit. No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. How clear can you be? This president has no authority to accept this gift. And the notion that he would accept it, use it for the remainder of his presidency, and then take personal title to the airplane is outrageous. And the fact of the matter is, those of us who've taken the time to check, it will cost the American taxpayers a fortune to take this gift from Qatar and to make it safe for any president to travel in it. As one of my colleagues has said, if the Qataris said as a favor to the people of the United States, we are going to redesign and pay for the redesign of the Oval Office, the Situation Room, and the President's residence, we'll do it on our dime. The American people would never fall for it. Why would we ever let them get that close to the decision-making at the highest level in America? And that's exactly what we're doing here if we accept this airplane. We've taken all those three functions of the president, added wings to the equation, and said the Constitution doesn't count. Republicans have claimed for years, Mr. President, that Joe Biden, during his administration and his time as vice president, engaged in wrongdoing due to his family's business dealings. I'm sure we remember congressional Republicans' endless investigations into President Biden's son and his past business dealings as a private citizen. But despite multiple investigations and a failed impeachment inquiry against President Biden, Republicans are largely silent and willing to disregard the overwhelming corruption of President Trump and his family as they pocket millions of dollars personally at the expense of the American people. In the latest long line of shady dealings, President Trump is receiving a private jet as a gift from the royal family of Qatar and is claiming that it's simply a gift to the Defense Department. This aircraft that we're talking about is sitting in San Antonio, Texas. It would be retrofitted to act as Air Force One for the remainder of Trump's term in office before ownership is transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation. The president claimed it would be, quote, stupid to say no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. However, he doesn't say it will cost American taxpayers millions more to retrofit the plane to meet the president's security, communication, and intelligence needs. What the president is suggesting is stupid, is retrofitting a very expensive plane from a foreign government, which constitutes a major counterintelligence risk on the American taxpayer's dime, when an American company is already manufacturing the next Air Force One. The Constitution, as I've read, explicitly gives Congress the power to control whether any officer of the United States, including the president, may accept a gift from, quote, any king, prince, or foreign state. This unprecedented gift clearly violates the Constitution and laws enacted by Congress to govern such gifts. Yet, Attorney General Bondi reportedly concluded that it would be legally permissible for President Trump to accept this gift. I am calling on the Attorney General today to release this opinion and report in its entirety to the United States Congress. I'm not surprised by it. This administration continues to abuse its power at the cost of the American people. Time and again, while Republicans in Congress stand by and allow it. Mr. President, do you hear it? The silence from the president's party, the silence of the lambs. Make no mistake, this is more than just a gift that benefits the president and not the American people. The president, we understand it's been reported, actively solicited this gift from Qatar. The question remains, in exchange for what? President Trump's acceptance of such a substantial gift from a foreign government could disproportionately influence the foreign policy of this country, exactly where the Founding Fathers gave Congress the power to control these gifts in the Constitution. It is clear to our foreign partners and enemies that under President Trump, America's policymaking is open to the highest bidder. We also see President Trump and his family profiting off the promise of influenced domestic policy. Right before his second inauguration, President Trump launched a valueless cryptocurrency token marked not as an investment, but as monetary support for Trump. First Lady Melania Trump also promoted her own meme coin shortly thereafter. This scheme allowed the president to pocket millions of dollars in direct payments with little or no public disclosure or oversight. He's never denied it. He's since fired the heads of agencies that investigate these crypto schemes. Donald Trump Jr. has founded a new private membership club in D.C. called the Executive Branch with a $500,000 membership fee. The launch party, featuring several cabinet and administration officials, underscored Trump Jr.'s efforts to sell access. That's what this administration does. It sees a barrier to cutting corners. Or any check on its corruption and gets rid of it. And these actions were entirely predictable because Trump and his family also blatantly used the presidency to enrich themselves by selling access and the chance to influence policy under his administration. I am saddened that my colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle apparently believe that silence is the best response to these outrages. It is the silence of the lambs. When will they stand up for the American people and say enough is enough? Or do they believe The American policy should be sold to whatever country is willing to place the highest bid. If we are talking about a swamp in D.C., sadly, this is a major part of it. I yield the floor.